How to start investing in your 30s from a savings account to passive income. Now I'm going to switch it up a little bit today and go a little deeper into this content. And these questions are coming straight out of Ask Loral. So even though the question was, how do you start in your 30s? I'm going to say start in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. You're going to start with whatever you've done to yourself. So some of you, it really doesn't matter about your age. I'm going to give you some steps, some considerations, and I'm not an advisor, so I can't tell you what to do to invest in, but I'm going to tell you some scenarios that I've done and tens of thousands of our clients have done. So stay to the end, grab a pen and paper because we have a lot to do. So let's get to the question. And the question's from Allison from Ask Loral. And if you are unaware of Ask Loral, if you go to askloral.com, you can ask a question, make a request, and any category, money, business, finance, what do you want to talk about? And from there, we're going to be pulling people and pulling those questions in here to the YouTube channel to deepen the answers for a broader group of you. So again, get a pen and paper. We're going to get to the absolute necessary steps at the end of the video. Allison asks, hey, Loral, I've seen your videos on TikTok. I'm grateful for the opportunity to take questions. I'm 33, have a bit of a savings sitting in a high yield savings account. I'm wanting to start investing, so I have that money work better for me, but I am lost. I have heard of investing in real estate, digital currency, service-based industries, mutual funds, energy stocks, Roth IRAs, Vanguard, Morgan Stanley, all the other big financial firms have something to offer. So here you are in your 30s, and you're not just, again, I'm not going to make this age specific because it's really any of you. I mean, you could be 18 years old and have some money that you want to invest. You could be in your 40s. You could be in your 50s. If your goal is to invest that you eventually match your W-2 income and passive income, which is Freedom Day for most people, where you are making enough passively through your investments to actually pay the bills, pay for everything. And then your extra income, whether it's a W-2 job or a side hustle or a business, can create more income. So passive income is the goal, but here's what a lot of you don't realize, right? As we get into some of these answers, I'm going to break it down into a couple of categories. And we're going to talk really about your investment journey and how do you actually start it? Because most of you start like little tiny babies because you haven't been educated, which is fine. So we're going to walk through how do you start and invest with some confidence and get some basic money rules. Number two, how do you then look for smarter choices in your investment opportunities so you get better returns? And inside of that is a lot of tax strategy. And that's where a lot of folks, it's amazing how you want to accelerate your income, but the investment choices you're making are all about capital gains, not depreciating schedules on your tax return. There's a trifecta that happens. So stay tuned for that. That's a big one. And then last, I'm going to talk about the common mistakes. What most people don't do is really more important. Most of people, they just want to hear about their choices, but are you really ready to move and take some action? And how do you move into the right action at the right time, given what you've got going on? All right, so let's start with your investment journey. How do you even start with some confidence? Well, first of all, we're not taught how to make money or invest money. We're taught how to get a job, make money that way, spend, go into a lot of debt, and spend most of your life in that pattern of what I call a lifestyle cycle, where you make it, you've loaded up credit cards, you've loaded up whether you bought a house, you bought cars, you have all this stuff. So most people in their life, their pattern is I'm going to make money with a job because I'm not going to learn to be an entrepreneur. So there's your biggest cue right there. Learn to be an entrepreneur. New active money is what causes you to have the money to invest. It's fascinating to me, Allison and anyone else who has this question, how many people say, I want my savings account to become passive income. Any investment has to come from some money. So you can go borrow 0% money, EIDL money for a lot of companies and a lot of people, or 3% money. Remember, debt's just the cost of money. So if you actually had to borrow money at a really low rate, but you know how to invest it at a high rate, that's called an arbitrage. So you could print money. I call it create money, right? Out of a debt structure, a very low and a very managed debt structure. But that's a little more advanced. For a lot of you, you just need to go make some more money. And a W-2 job isn't about like the Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey style with get another job, get another job, get another job. If you have a job, that's all you need. What you need is corporate life, the way I teach it, which means you're going to get an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC, limited partnership in the US. And even if you're international, a lot of our international folks are actually using the US corporate structures. And then theirs are held in trust so you don't land in probate. So your structure of how you make that money is beyond critical. You've got to make it inside of a company. That way you have deductions. So for example, you legally can't write off your phone, right? You just can't as an individual. That's not a deduction for you, but your company could. You say, well, I don't have a company. Therein lies the real answer to your question. How do you move a savings account into passive income? Well, first of all, I want you to focus on more active income. What can you do today to make faster money? And I don't care if it's like from home services to nanny services to tutoring services to go wholesale some real estate. However you want to make more money, you need more money invested so you can make more passive income. You can't just stretch a small amount of, say, $5,000 to $10,000 in a savings account and stretch that out to more than what it is. So let's just do some basic math. If you had $100,000 invested at 12%, that's $12,000. Divide by 12, that's $1,000 of passive income. If you have $1 million, and this is the most disgusting number for most of you because you're not doing what I call just common sense math. $1 million invested at 12% is $120,000. Divide by 12, now you're at $10,000 a month passively. That is assuming you can find the 12% investment, you can put the whole million to work, that it all cash flows back to you on a regular basis, and that it's a cash account, not a qualified account. A qualified account is your Roths. It is your 401ks, it's your solo 401ks, your TSPs, it's all of those qualified money for retirement, those kind of accounts where you access that money later in life. So yes, that can create passive income and you can invest within it. I do a lot of stocks in that area in my qualified plans with dividends. With fixed dividends, 9%, 11%, you can sometimes get 13. So then that accumulates over time inside your qualified money, but that's not passive income you could live on today. That's later money. So you want to do a blend is what most people would do. You blend some cash accounts where you're making money, new cash accounts for active income, and you're making money inside your qualified plans. If you don't have qualified plans, we have a great team. And at any time during this conversation with me, I'm going to have you click on the description below, call our office, get a one-on-one appointment. To start that off, if you haven't even read my book, I want you to read the first 3 chapters, My Millionaire Maker, do a gap analysis, which is where are you and what do you want? You have to know what you want. How we solve your problem is through income and assets. How are you making it? How are you investing it? We can't tell you. I can't tell you how to invest it. I stay non-licensed intentionally so I can talk about anything. Do I have licensed people who will hold your hand and walk you through and do all the investing for you? Yes. They're alternative. They are not the normal ones. They're self-directed ones. So we do it in a very different structure. Here's a perspective. If you think about the health world, right? There's the Western medicine if you just go to a hospital. But you know what? The healthiest people in the world, they go to alternatives, right? They do hyperbaric chambers. They do IV treatments. They do all sorts of other kinds of treatments to get really healthy. Same in money. You can go to the traditional firms, the Morgan Stanleys, the Fidelities, the Schwabs, all of them. And I use those accounts for certain pieces of my financial plan and whole strategy, but I don't keep it there. I self-direct. So then I get to be in charge. So for a lot of you, you've got to get more educated and get more in charge of what you want for your investments. The best books for those of you that want this answer is The Millionaire Maker and my Wealth Cycle Investing book, which gives you money rules, risk analysis. It tells you a lot of the alternatives that you can be investing in because there's more than just the stock market and real estate. And mutual funds, we don't even deal with them. They're not even a thing we do. And if you want a free account of where a lot of us put our money, it's a software. So I'm not giving you advice. And it's trades folios, smart folios as they're called. So there's a link for iFlip in the description below. It's a free gift from us. So go grab that account and start loading it up. You can do cash accounts. You can do qualified accounts. You can do both. But this beginning investing is a structure that you need to just start with. And again, without a company, an LLC, an S Corp, C Corp, the right company, depending on what you want to do, you're still going to overpay tax because all you're doing is making W-2 income. And for those of you that are around the world, you wonder what's W-2 income? It's being an employee. If the only way you're making money is an employee, I don't care where you are in the world, it is the highest tax money. It's not the thing to grow. What you want to grow is entrepreneurial money, being an entrepreneur, and then getting that money invested. So a lot of the confidence is coming from a really great base. And sooner than later, most of you are going to want an investment, a private investment entity where you can start doing your iFlip accounts, for example. You can start stockpiling more and more money. And as that money makes money for greater returns, which let's go on to number 2, how do you maximize a bigger return? Well, it's actually better knowledge. It's more knowledge. So as we move into how do you maximize those returns, a lot of it is education. You've got to get the millionaire maker, and you really have to figure out your why. Why do you want more money? Why do you want to move from a savings account, Allison, into passive income? Well, it's the right thing to do, but you just don't create passive income out of nothing. Most of you need to focus on new active income, and all of that active income goes to new investments. So you say, well, how do I look at my returns? Well, clearly we use iFlip. We don't trade unless you are an active and very well-trained trader of the market, where you get up with the market, you go to sleep with the market, or you know how to Forex trade. Most of our community is in the smart folios of iFlip. And if you actually really study those folios, you can get 15, 18, 20% returns just in that. And then, so the stock market's the obvious. So what else can you do? Life insurance is an amazing investment strategy. You can actually put money in, you can borrow against it, you can keep a good death benefit. It's called infinite banking. So we have strategies and experts for that. Real estate, the obvious one, right? My first millionaire status was in real estate. And you can start wholesaling, right? Where you're finding a buyer, you're finding a seller, you're putting them together. You just have to know how to write a contract. So we have some great education we can help you with to learn how to do that. Or you're going to go out and you're going to go start finding some properties. And if you don't have any money or good credit, you're going to have to find a few friends or family members to do your first ones with. Most good, smart money is not going to invest with a beginner, right? We're going to invest with other people that are mature. And you say, well, how do I get to be one? You got to get mentored and coached. I mentored and coached since I was 17 years old. Most of you are standing there wanting little crumbs of information, and then you're down going, how do I put it together? It's why we do the integrated wealth system, so we can do your foundation, your corporate structure, your corporate compliance, make sure your tax choices, because every time you invest in something, you're going to either have capital gains upon the sale. Now, if you 1031, you can avoid that in real estate. But a lot of you, or if you put some very, very elite trusts together, you can do that. More expensive and not for beginners. So what do you do as a beginner? Well, you do what I did. So I went and I did some basic fix and flips, right? That's not difficult to put a few people together, get enough down payment money. If it's your first home and your first home buyer, FDA, USDA, there's so many, FHA, they have so many new loan programs. VAs have good loan programs. So find a VA that has never bought a property and get down on 3% down. So you don't have as much money that you have to do. So real estate is always a good move. Is it easy to do as a beginner? I'm not going to agree with all the gurus who say you can start from nothing and just go, and it's going to be really quick. You've got to have some guidance, some counseling. I did real estate for a long time, interestingly. And then finally, 1999, hired that extra mentor that I needed, and that took me to my millionaire status in real estate. So obviously, stock market through iFlip, real estate, insurance are great. Cryptocurrencies are great. I like cryptos inside of a Roth, or even stocks inside of a Roth where they grow tax-free, tax-deferred. You can do some big growth. Back to your passive income question, that's going to be loading up your Roth for later in life. So you want to be balancing your later in life growth for cash flow, later passive income as you get older, against what you have today for active income. So active income is required for you to get the money to do your passive income unless you're willing to go into debt. And so I'm talking 0%, 2%, 3%, and then arbitraging that debt just like a bank does. And a lot of us do that. You say, well, what if I want to get more sophisticated? Well, a lot of stuff that gets a little more sophisticated requires you to be accredited. So accredited is that you're making $250 a year as an individual for the last 2 years, or $350 as a couple, or you're worth $1 million. So is it easier to increase your income to $250 or become a millionaire? $250. So what we focus on income all the time is we want you making more money so you qualify. You got to check that accredited box. And if you go to our store, which is a link to our store and below, I have a What is an Accredited Investor course. Super simple, super easy. It's a master class so you can understand what does it take and why being accredited is so important in your growth. The things I would say be careful of, where I see a lot of mistakes, is that you're making deals with other beginners versus lean up, reach up to people with way more experience. I have been the most successful in my life when I have partnered with people with way more experience and expertise than me. So if you're a bunch of beginners all trying to figure this out together, the chances of mistakes are enormous. The costly errors are almost guaranteed. So I love when people say, oh, Loral, I can't afford your tuition. It's like, you overpay that tuition in taxes every year and costly mistakes because you won't get the proper help. All you need to do is get the proper help in the right structure, load on extra income, make sure you make better investment choices, and you're going to get your goal. The trifecta that I was talking about early in the video, though, it's not only how you make it, it's what company you make it in, S Corp, LLC, C Corp, right? If it's held in trust, and then how you invest. So gas and oil, real estate, aviation, water rights, mineral rights, those are depreciating assets. So you want those as part of your formula. So you actually get to keep more and it takes your taxes down. I've seen to single digits, if not zero. Some people from Puerto Rico are just hiring me just recently saying, I'm done. I don't want to be in Puerto Rico 181 days. And it's pretty strict and you have to be. I said, you never had to be there in the first place. That was just a great tax lawyer move to take a lot of you to into a high price strategy of which now you're stuck there. So I'm unraveling and making your life much simpler from a corporate structure and reducing those taxes because I have some of the best tax teams in the world. So it's a combination of this team. It's not you figuring it out alone. So I don't know when a lot of you that are watching my channel or other guru channels that actually know what they're doing. This isn't about waving a magic wand or some little formula. This is about you learning, saying, I want a different life. I'm done overpaying. If you just put back $10,000 a month in your pocket every year versus pay the IRS $10,000 additional in taxes, in 20 years, you'll put over $1 million back into your own pocket, invested at 12%. There's your $10,000 a month in passive income. You say, well, how do I make $1 million? Any of you can make that kind of money. Making money is not difficult. It's different. And for those of you who want to be an entrepreneur, there's 3 skills you're going to learn. And it's how to market, which is get a lead interested in what you're doing, how to sell them, which is collect the money, and how to manage that cash flow through corporate structure. So there's a trifecta. We know it in and out. I know I'm speaking to you fairly quickly compared to the education you probably have here, which means repeat this, repeat this, repeat this, subscribe to my channel, click the notification button. I need you here all the time. I have a 5-day-a-week channel. I'm starting doing longer videos and less of them so you can really consume the content, share it with other people, and go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask a question, make a request. We'll be right here to help you do as much as we can help you do. The common mistakes, number 1 is not getting help. I don't know how many people just want to do it alone. And how many people say, of all the things, I only need your tax people, Loral. No, you don't. You need the corporate structure, corporate compliance, who's going to do your documents and resolutions legally. You need a trust or you're going to end up in probate. So why build any of it without that? You're going to need insurance to cover any of the cost of what you still owe upon your death. If something happens, God forbid, you leave a huge debt structure to your family. It's a total integrated plan down to how you use vehicle insurance, how you book equipment, how do you book IP. All of these things are integrated. So the intent of this video isn't to overwhelm you, but it's to let you know that when we talk about the big table, it's like a smorgasbord. And your job is to start consuming from where you are. I don't care if you're 30 years old, 40 years old, and start getting in the right sequence that's going to accelerate your moves. So sequencing is doing the right thing at the right time. And a lot of you are doing what you want to do based on a very limited capacity of knowledge, quite frankly, and you're not using experts. You're trying to use TurboTax or do taxes yourself or use the cheapest, person on the corner. It's not about that. If you want to be wealthy, then you got to play like someone wealthy and you got to lean up and get some help. So again, other mistakes are just letting it sit in a savings account or CD. It's not going to make enough money. And if you just park your money and pray with a financial advisor, and I got to tell you, most financial advisors, majority of them, they have gone to school less time than the person who cuts your hair. It takes somebody to get licensed to cut hair and do massage more time than to run your money. So is that really where you want your money, in a big house that runs on software programs that really you have no benefit of, besides you pay a lot of fees and commission? In iFlip, you don't pay fees, you don't pay commissions. You pay a monthly fee just to have the software and have access to the folios, which include crypto, which include gas and oil. It's a way, as a non-accredited, you can get into those asset classes. So make sure you do a few things. Grab my Millionaire Maker book, send the description, fill out the gap, call our office, get a one-on-one. and grab the iFlip as a beginning move to start. As we work more together, I can give you more and more direction and more clues. I do have a real estate as leverage program on my store. And again, the store link's below. It's phenomenal. It's 8 hours of how I became a millionaire in real estate, still very relevant today. And I want to go back and just make sure that we have answered all of the questions. So in the videos, right, she is moving from a high yield savings. So go to iFlip, starting to invest, but you're lost. So again, investing in all of these different diverse assets is where you want to go over time. Real estate, digital currency you can do through iFlip, service-based businesses. I moved from real estate, gas and oil to service-based businesses as investments, which was pizzerias, coffee shops, hair salons, nail salons. Love those kind of businesses because they are very, very movable and you can create fast cash with great offers and again, great marketing. So for some of you, partner up would be where I go. Do not do this alone. Huge mistake. That's not just a common mistake. I'd say it's the number one mistake is you trying to do this alone. You're not a self-made millionaire. You're going to be a team-made millionaire. So we're going to join our team, be with us. Again, whether you're 30, 40, we're going to meet you where you are. Whatever you've done to yourself financially, we don't have a judgment about it. We're going to take you where you want to go based on your gap. So call our office, get an appointment. Make sure you're here on this channel every day. Every day, every day, there's got to be some new learning. At least learn one thing new every day. And we'll be back tomorrow with more.